if it is not possible to complete its execution, then we have to shift back, move it out. So moving out because insufficient data. If it is insufficient data, we have to take it out for small time. So that activity of taking it out is called as swap out. So if data is completely available for that process, once the completely available, then take that process and keep it back. Now what is the order? P3, P1, P2. I repeat, P3, P1, P2. So now P3 will enter. If P3 doesn't have any requirements here and here, so then what happens? P3 will finish this out and it will go out. So what is the order now? P1, P2. So now is P1 definitely have all its values? Yes. So P1 finishes its execution. P2 also got its all the value. Now you see when P2 was here, again it stored back on ready queue. That is called as a swap in or push in into the ready queue. Okay, there are three entries for ready queue. One is swap in, another one is IO side, new one is third one is new arrival of the processes. Okay, so how to arrange this? You are going to study this in your second module. Okay, as of now, you remember three processes. One is first one, if successfully finishes, all the three processes have full data, no need of swap out and IO waits. So P1 has all its data, it will finish, it will go out. P2 has all its data, it will enter CPU, it will go out. P3 also. If any process has a shortfall of anything, then only we have to think about swap out, or we have to think about input output waiting queues. Okay, fine. Coming for the next, just one example here, which is very familiar for us, is how the multitasking will execute in our mobile. Assume you are listening a music. Okay, so you have opened some music player in the mobile. So suddenly what you will get here, you will get a message from your friend. Okay, so what happens is the music player goes in background process. Okay, it is called minimized. What will be in the foreground is whatever the message social media you are using, on which you got a message from your friend, that acts as a foreground. Something you type at that time, will it affect music player or will it affect a foreground? Social media software like a WhatsApp. Okay, my question is, you are listening a song, you got a message, you have opened that message environment in the WhatsApp. So suddenly what happens is music player is in the background. So that WhatsApp is in the foreground. So anything I give input, it affects only foreground. So if I type something like hello, welcome, so it is not going to be affect the background. So here the swap in and swap out off, two things happened here. First thing, it was a normal execution of a player. When the when I receive a message, suddenly music player has swapped out. Okay, swapped out. It doesn't mean you are not get you cannot listen a song. Okay, song will be there, listening music will be there. Only foreground is, that means swapped out is a music player swap. Okay, then processing is WhatsApp. So after you reply your friend, again you will go for exit. So suddenly what happens? Swapped out is WhatsApp. Next, immediately will you can see is music player window. That is took back as a swap in. Okay, so this is what you have noticed in your mobile system. Okay, so the exchange of presently executing process and next arrival process, next arrival or arrived process. Okay, that word, what is the technical word? We call it as context switch. Context switch. Okay, so presently one process is under execution, some other process with high priority arrives, then swap out the present executing process, allow the new just now arrived process, handle that process, then again keep back that. During this time, see, let's take the scenario. You are listening a music, you got a message from your friend in the WhatsApp. Okay, suddenly what happens? You have swapped out music player, you are reading a message, the message is big, so you are taking 1 minute of a time. Suddenly you will get a call. What happens? Who is on the front priority? Main priority. Call is a main priority. who all are in the background, or what we can say swapped out are, first swapped out was a music player, next swapped out was the WhatsApp, where you are reading a message. So what happens until your call disconnects, either voluntarily or automatically, so all other activities are in the background, those are swapped out modes. So once you close that, means you have disconnected the call with your friend. Now what will come front is, between them which has a higher priority. Higher priority is WhatsApp, because it's a message, so it will come front. So again, swapped out, or the context switch took place between call and WhatsApp message. So again, once you close that WhatsApp, where the context switch will take place is back to the music player. So every time a process, or sorry, every time any two or one process, between two processes or more than two processes, context switch happens, their respective process control block will get exchanges, because every process has its own PCB. If I swap out a process, definitely assume that it's complete related process control block, which looks like this here, where I am showing is this one. Okay, here, this, if I remove one process from execution, its full box is, that block is removed from the CPU, not permanently, for a temporary time. Once I bring back that process for the execution, then I will get that PCB again. Okay, if there are three activities, there are three process control blocks. First process, playing a music. Second process, control block for WhatsApp message reading. Third, PCB for call. So among these, generally PCB1 will work. When PCB1, suddenly I got a message, PCB2 will come to the execution, PCB1 swapped out. When PCB1 was working, suddenly I got a call from my friend, that means PCB3 has been created. Until I disconnect the call, PCB3 will be the execution. Once I disconnect the call, PCB3 destroyed. Okay, so suddenly PCB2 will come for the execution. If I don't want to read the message, then I will minimize it. Again, I can go for the music player. That means between PCB1 and PCB2, I can choose anything. Okay, sometimes like this also happen. Sometimes PCB2 generally takes as a more priority, because it's a message type. This is called as how the context switch will take place. Okay, next, one of the main concept, how many operations we can do on the processes. We can do three activities. One is a creation as a broader view. Again, we have some sub steps: pause, continuation, pushing the process into the waiting, etc. Those all we will listen. I mean, we will study in the next sections. As a broad view, we can create a process, we can terminate a process, we can allow process for execution. So very simple way, if creation means student taking admission into the college, okay, termination means he has completed his all 8 semester or 6 semesters, and with all the subjects passed, he is going out from the college. That's a termination. Okay, execution means what? During his 4 years of the tenure, or 3 years of a tenure, he is undergoing with all the rules of the college, like attending a class, taking examination, taking a practical, everything. See, this is called as admission. Okay, admission is successful done, then he has completed a degree. Then comes the other, all the day-to-day activities. So that's a similarity, what you can resemble as, so you can easily analyze. Okay, let's go for first, process creation. So what do you mean by process creation? Generally, there will be a default program which will be always working. Can you see this tree here? Please do reply in the chat box. This is a very, very important tree. Okay, so can you read out the first process name and its process ID? First process. Do reply in the chat box so I can continue. First process here in the tree. Okay, INI. Its name is actually init. I will type here. The program name is init, which means always initialize. Okay, initialize. Even this init will get starts, sorry, before your operating system starts loading. Okay, so this is what the definition. Please read out in the chat. Init always starts before operating system gets loaded. Okay, so that means what? Every time there will be one main person called init. Based upon that, he will keep on loading, I mean, creating a new process. Once all the process, see here, if you, okay, you can imagine this. You have turned off the mobile, switched off the mobile. Now you are switching it on. Can you directly see uh, can you directly operate WhatsApp in your mobile immediately after switching on? That's not possible. What I can see, what I have to see is first long button, long press of that power button of a mobile device, then wait for 1 or 2 seconds. After that, I can see my mobile company logo. Between this logo and something is called as, okay, the boot. It's called as boot. So once I see that logo, again I need 1 or 2 seconds of a time to see whether it's a loading or not. Sometimes I will see round circles. Sometimes some different company uses different graphics, so you can feel. Okay, then you can see home screen, home button or a screen on your mobile. After this, you can operate the WhatsApp, or you can start listening the music, or you can see some pictures in the mobile. That means what? Always init program will execute, which allows to load OS. Then OS will start its services. Then among that, one service is WhatsApp. Then you can click and see the messages of your friend. So that means what? Before OS, there are some processes which we cannot feel in our mobile. But as an expert or a software developer, we should able to identify which are the processes are there before I could start a WhatsApp or any of the program in my mobile or even in a computer. See how it is different from computer. See, you assume that computer is off for 2 days. Now you are going to turn it on by the power supply button on the CPU cabinet. If you press that, you will get some black screen before you get a logo of a Windows. That black screen is nothing but the init program. That black screen is init program. Once that is successfully loaded, then you will get a OS. After getting OS, you will get a desktop. Then you can start any of the work like a painting or preparing a graph, etc. So that means what here? Any process which will be created as according to our wish, we feel that I have created, but it is already created under some of the parent. Okay, parent means who is just above that. Okay, here process is 9298. His parent ID is 8416. Okay, so process number 8416 has a two child. One is 9298, another one is 9204. What is a process parent name of 8416? 8415. Okay, what is the parent name of 8415 is 1. How many child 1 has is 1, 2, 3. How many child process ID 2 has is R 6 and 200. How many childs the process ID 3028 has? Only one child, that's a 3610. How many processes, how many childs the process 3610 has? Only one, that's a 4005. How many child process ID 6 has? No childs. Parent, only one. How many parents PID 200 have? Only one. Always parent will be one, child can be many. Okay. So see here, every process has its own identification number, just like a student will get his USN. Okay. So now what are the resources we should keep ready for? We should keep ready whenever a process is created. Very simple way. If a student take admission to the college, what all we have to reserve for it? We have to reserve some textbooks. We have to give him seat in the class. We have to give him some assignment books. Okay, then IA booklets. Okay, then some computer we have to reserve him. Okay, etc. See, these all are the resources required by the user. Same way, there may be some resources like a CPU cycle, memory, then other utilization resources. Those all we should prepare or a reserve whenever a process is recently created. So when it is not allowed, sorry, when it is not allowed to take admission, when resources are fully occupied. Okay, that means what here? There are 60 seats. Okay, out of 60, we have all 60 seats filled. So that means what now? We cannot take the admission. If resources are fully occupied, then we cannot allow to create a process, new process. So what I can do, if I have to wait, any of the process will finish its execution early, or any of the process terminates itself, then there will be one vacancy. We can create a seat for him. Same way, process will be like there are some limitation. If that limitation is reached, do not create a process. If there are resources available, we can create a process. We can create a new process. Give the resources. What is definite condition is, this is an important word: sharing of resources. We cannot have all resources exclusively given for that. Do we have separate computer in our college for every student? Not possible. So we have to go for sharing of the computers. So that's what a process creation is. Okay, so always one more point here is, process creation will be in the form of tree, which I have shown here in the next slide. Process creation will be in the form of trees. Why it should be in the trees is, we will easily identify who is parent of a process, who is a child for a process, like that. So it's a nature, sorry, it's a procedure. Okay, then comes what is the function we are using for creating a process. So you have to remember this name, which I am underlining and changing the color to the red. So fork, it will be a viva question, or even if you the question you will get in your main question paper also, that what is the function name we are using to create a process. So it is not a create word. Okay, so it's a fork, and it is a system call. Okay, hope you all remember studied your keyword new in the object oriented subject to create what? New object. So object creation is done by keyword new. How to delete the object? Okay, I think it is delete keyword. Okay, so like this, new operator is to create object, delete is to delete the object. Same way, first fork is to create the child. See here, if some process is call fork, it will get created with a child. So automatically, if child is there, it is a parent, it acts as a parent now. Okay, so child has given a work, child will complete its work, child will finish. Until child finish, the parent who acts as a parent, he should not stop himself. He has to wait until his child completes. See here, suddenly you think this process is a child and this is a parent. What 8416 should do is, it has to wait until 9298 completes its work. If not, what happens? If it terminates itself, this is called as orphan child. Orphan child. So that is not at all allowed. If, okay, what is the solution we have? If a process is orphan child, directly you take this and connect it into as a child of a init. Are you getting now? You can ask any doubt if you have. Here, if this is his parent died, okay, died means exit. So then it becomes orphan. So take this orphan and connect that as a child of init. Okay, so if this is option, can we can we delete all these parents and make these to the child of init? That's also not possible. That is not a good way. Okay, so make parent to wait till their child completes the execution. See here, fork is called, hence it become a parent. It will go for wait state. It's a waiting till what? It is waiting till exit of a something. Who is, I mean, some other. Who is that some other? He is under execution, and who is that is called, it's a child. So child will complete execution, he will terminate, then he he will also go for wait. Why wait is because after that parent is anyway it is going for a wait state. So again, one more thing, important thing, if any of the work of parent is remaining, then you can start. Because yes, Maharudra, it's a important part. Okay, we are going to get programs which are based upon Linux. Okay, fine. Okay, this becomes a parent. This is a child. Child completes work, exit, and it will go for the finish. The parent will go for wait till the child completes, and again restarts or continues its execution where it was left because of the child. Okay, see, this is one program. You can expect this question in your main examination. Write a C program for creating a process. Creating a process is also called as forking. Okay, so here you see main. Leave about these header files. I hope you are going to study in your next semesters, or else if possible you try to remember them. Okay, so just like it's a how the student will definitely take a admission. Okay, so what do you mean by student taking admission or student admission is confirmed? There should be a USN called 2JH, some number, CS, again some number. If number is created, then only student admission is confirmed. Otherwise, student admission is not confirmed. Same way, PID is equal to fork. Okay, fork is what? It's a system call. Here I have mentioned system call. So fork means what? Create a process. So what all the things will take place behind if a standard function called as fork is, it will check first thing, are any vacancy, like 60 students are there, 60 seats are there, so no admission is not possible. 59 students are there, 60 seats are there, yes, fork is successful. Like that it will check. If fork is successful, it will generate one number which is a positive number, like 2JH something something, etc. If that number is negative, what we have to think? Because it's a lesser than 0. If lesser than 0, process is unable to create because resources are fully busy. If process ID is 0, what happens? If process ID is 0, if it is equal to, okay, so it is nothing. Okay, leave about technical part. It's a exec command line prompt. Okay, so what it has to execute is listing of files, listing of the files. Okay, something has to do. If number is not a 0, also not a negative, not a negative, not a negative and not a 0, then what it should be? It should be some new process who has created successfully. So what is name of it? It's a child process. Okay, so is the program clear? You can ask any doubts. This question, hope it will be helpful for you to get more marks rather than writing only theory part. Okay, see, I will try to explain it again. You will call up a fork function, some process will get created. If you have any doubt, you can do one thing. You leave this else if part. Only think about if else part. If and else part. That's also sufficient. You have called up for a fork. Okay, fork means creation of a process. A student took admission, whether his admission is correct or not, valid or not. USN generated, not generated. That's in our day-to-day life. Here, how something is generated which is a negative, so that means admission is not confirmed. Something is generated which is not negative. So what do you mean by not negative? Not negative means positive. So if it's a positive, definitely his admission is confirmed. Like that we can imagine. Okay, so one more we have. This is what using a Windows API. So hope it won't be there for fourth sem students. Okay, you can understand only when we finish a system programming in the Unix. Okay, so I will take only C program, which was simple. Okay, so next comes here. I will skip this second portion, which is the execution, because for this we have a lot of concepts in our upcoming modules. Let's go for termination. So, and one more thing before I could start, I left with only 1 minute for the today's session, and there are 40 students. Once I say, you can give the USN as a attendance. Second thing, only 40 minutes is not sufficient for me to finish the syllabus like every day. So what I do is, every day I will try to put up 1 hour session in the YouTube. And again, one more class as usual in the according to the timetable. So what we have to do, I will keep on informing in the group also, one session plus one, because within a second, I mean for a first IA, that's the second or third week of this month, we have to finish a second module. So since it is a theory part, the time will be insufficient. So I will put up a recorded session as well as the live sessions. Okay, that will be my method of teaching. So you can go for giving your attendance fast.